100,000 illegal immigrants are in hotels in the country. Rough sleeper in Manchester found dead this morning on the streets of Manchester City Centre. Can't give him a hotel.
No.
So sleeping on the street, dead outside the Palace Theatre this morning.
Yeah.
In Manchester City Centre.
Well, it's interesting you say that. My wife was Ireland. This problem is worse in Ireland. I don't know if you're aware in terms of the immigration. So my wife saw a clip on Irish TV, and there was an native Irish white single mother with 2 kids, homeless. Sitting next to her in the council or whatever was an African woman who was boasting, not boasting nastily, but boasting that she'd been given a house within a month of arriving in the country. So we are now prejudicing our own people to the benefit of people who were not born in this country, to the benefit of people who've been born, who've come here illegally, in all sorts of ways. The healthcare is an example of that.
It is.
The hotels are an example of that. You are guaranteed as an illegal immigrant to have accommodation, but there's a guy dying in Manchester on the streets.
Yep. And that's because we don't want to be called racist. So they will say this isn't discrimination. We have a point system, and that African woman got more points because she's got 5 kids. You've only got 2, and she's vulnerable. She gets more points because she's an immigrant. She gets more points because she doesn't speak English. That makes you more vulnerable. So we've got to look after her even more. So they've got a point system that skews towards that, but it's all wrong.
We discussed it last time, didn't we? You know, a phrase my dad said, charity begins at home.
Yeah.
You've got to look after your own people first. Then, if you can afford to, you have the bandwidth and there's a capacity, you can potentially look after other people. But you've got to look after your own people first, haven't you? Any
citizen in any country should be treated better than a guest of an immigrant in that country. And I don't mean you treat other people poorly. I'm just saying you're a citizen of that country. If I come to your house, you're bound to treat your kids better than me.
And I think that's part of the reason, and again, the reason people voted for Trump. He's very clear. He's all about
America first.
America first. You know, that's a fundamental message of his, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people want to hear that. They've also heard about 10 million illegal immigrants coming into the States in the last 4 years, basically. You know, they want to know that they're going to be first. And I think that's a big reason they voted for Trump.
And for almost the whole of human existence, that was a perfectly acceptable thing to say. My tribe first.
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
It changed after World War II because of the Holocaust. So because the Germans, again foreigners, did something terrible.
Yes, the Germans are foreigners.
They are.
Yes.
Did something terrible, we've all have to pay the price because now everyone is trying to ensure that we're not perceived to be like the Germans.